Hi, I'm Giana Van Nice, and this is my family, Dan, my husband, my sons, Jareth and Jesse, and my daughters, Jalen and Joy, and we are the Van Nice family of Blue Dog Farms. We started Blue Dog Farms in 2010 in New Freedom, Pennsylvania, and even though Dan and I have lived all over the country and I've traveled the world in the Navy, we really found our home here in New Freedom, PA. At the farm, we raise cattle, we raise chicken, turkey, and also pigs. So today we're going to show you around the farm a little bit. We're going to introduce you to our cattle, show you how we move cows with rotational grazing. We're going to show you how we run goats with our cattle, and we're going to show you some Thanksgiving turkeys. So we're looking forward to it. Come on. So on our farm, we all work. We don't have any laborers or helpers full-time on our farm. It's just our family. And so because of that, and because I was in the Navy, we call it an all-hands-on-deck evolution, which means all of the kids, me and Dan, are working every day to work the cattle and provide the best beef we can provide to everybody. So our son Jareth was responsible this year for daily chicken moves, which meant March through November. He was getting up before school and moving and feeding chicken. Our 13-year-old daughter Jalen is responsible for the tribe of goats that we run with our cows. We'll talk a little bit more about them and show you them a little bit too. And Jalen is also really active in our customer service. So when people order meat, beef, chicken, or turkey from us, it'll actually be Jalen who processes the order and packages the order and hands it out. And obviously our little kids are just great comic relief, and they help out as best they can, carrying tools, and they're terrific helpers. When we do a chicken processing night, it's an all-night affair, and all the kids are actively involved. And we just really feel blessed that we get to share this life and this knowledge with our kids. So what you see here is Dan building fence for our cattle. And we initially started raising pasture-raised meats for our family, but quickly the operation grew. Our friends and family wanted some, and so we expanded. So at Blue Dog Farms, what we raise is grass-fed and grass-finished beef. And that makes us a little unique from other farmers, especially in the area, because most of the beef that you get, if it says it's grass-fed, it's not grass-finished, it's finished on grain. But at Blue Dog Farms, our beef is never fed grain of any kind. And that means it's extremely lean, and it has a very different flavor. So grass-fed and grass-finished beef typically has a lower total fat content. It's got more omega-3 fatty acids, more antioxidant vitamins, and more what they call conjugated linoleic acids, or CLAs, which some actually believe prevents some kind of cancers. So this also means that our beef takes longer to raise. It takes us about 24 or 26 months, opposed to grain cattle, which can take 15 months. And so these cows that you see here will actually be with us for 2 years. So we get to know them, we take good care of them, we move them every day. When we first started, it was really more about raising the kind of meat we like to eat. But as we've evolved, we've really realized that this is an outreach for the community. We're guided by Christian values, so we want to love and serve others, but we also want to hold our animals in high regard and just take care of the land that we've been given. So we actually do that with what we call rotational grazing, or aggressive pasture management. And how we do that is we move the fences every single day. So we use this temporary fence that you can see Dan and the kids pounding in over there. And it's a lot of work, right? Because you have to move fence every day. But there are many benefits that make it worth this extra work for us. For one, the cows are happily grazing in new pasture every day. So they move more like a herd of cows would move in the wild, kind of all together into a new pasture. And they're able to enjoy all the nutrients that the land has to offer. But it's also better for the land. So the animals will graze the entire area, where normally if they were just open to roam, this entire area, they would only eat the stuff that they like best. And that would mean a lot of the nutritious feed wouldn't be eaten, and it would get old and tough. So this way, when we move them every day, it allows them to eat all the pasture down, which helps the grasses grow back better. And because we do this, it also helps the land. So there isn't one area that is substantially overgrazed where mud or manure could run into a creek. So we're trying to be responsible and take care of the land too. So it may take a little extra time. You can see the kids are doing that. My 13-year-old is driving the RTV. They're nailing in fence posts and putting up electric fence that we got from Kenco Farm and Fence Supplies, which are great partners for us. And in that way, we're able to move the cows every day. You can also see that we run goats along with our cows. And we actually started running goats with the cows back in the beginning of 2020. We received a grant from the Skirted Soldier, who's actually a terrific veteran farmer as well, who grows artisan teas, and in conjunction with the PA Veteran Farming Project, to add laying hens and goats with our rotationally grazed cattle. And I would encourage anyone who's a veteran in Pennsylvania and interested in farming to get in touch with the PA Veteran Farming Project. So what's great about the goats, besides the fact that they're laying around and enjoying the sunshine up there, is they get to enjoy the pastures. They're actually bonded to the herd and follow the cattle around. But the goats will also eat down weeds and just all the junk that the cattle are not interested in eating, but the goats love it. So it enables us not to use any kind of herbicides along the fence lines, or if any pesky weeds pop up. The goats that's their nature. They just naturally take care of that for us. So a group of goats is called a tribe. So we have the main tribe here, and any mamas and babies that come along, we move back to our house and our barn until they're weaned. And the goats add an additional value stream for the farm. Our 13-year-old daughter, Jalen, has her own Facebook page called Jalen's Tribe, and she writes about caring for the goats and birthing and babies, and she actually sells them. So she recently sold 2 babies who went to another farm to help with weed control there. So you can see along the hill here, we've built our temporary fence that we will be moving the cows into today. And the cows are used to this since we move daily. So they're mooing and kind of getting ready already. And they just seem to know that the grass is greener on the other side. So as you see, the goats are kind of up above, and the kids are ready to help herd the goats if they need it. So sometimes we have to run and help herd the tribe or the cows through to the next fence, especially a new one. That's fine. But sometimes you'll hear Dan, and he's just calling, "Come on, cows." Sometimes he'll just come call them, and they will just follow along after him. It may be tricky to get them started, but once they get started, they'll all just walk along behind and move into the new paddock. So we were blessed this year too, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention it too. You saw earlier the RTV that we were driving. We were blessed this year to be awarded a grant from the Farmer Veteran Coalition. This is a national program, and we're members of that. And they also do the Homegrown by Heroes, which is a certification for farmers who are also veterans. So go Navy. So you can see here kind of what it's like to move cows into a new pasture.
Look at them. They don't like John at all.
And the goats are kind of along with them.
Come on, cows. You're going to have to move down the hill.
Typically, if you are walking and building fence up daily, you can walk anywhere from 8 to 11 miles. Up and down these hills, it's a lot of walking. It's a lot of work moving. And that really isn't too big of a deal until the summer of 2019, when Dan fell and broke his leg and ankle, actually, in 5 places. And the kids and I took over farming. That's when the RTV really came in handy, to kind of zip around and chase behind the cows and and the goats and get them to follow us around. So one thing we can't show you, which is kind of a bummer, we also do pasture-raised, non-GMO fed chicken and pork, and they're more seasonal animals because when it turns colder, obviously they can't be out on pasture. But it's a big part of our spring and summer work. So here we go. Here comes the herd. Originally, our farm was spread primarily by word of mouth, but nowadays we use other things. We have the PA Preferred label, which is a great label. It connects Pennsylvanians to farmers who grow only in PA. And we use things like Eat Wild. Oh, here come the goats. Programs like Homegrown by Heroes are a great label for Pennsylvanians who are looking to support veteran farmers. And obviously we use a ton of social media. We really want to connect consumers with the farmers they trust to grow their food. And one way we do that is, we post on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have a YouTube channel. Our handle is @BlueDogFarmsPA. And our website is www.bluedogfarms.net. And what you'll find on our social media is just a lot of this. It's a lot of what does it take to move cows? How do we raise chickens? How do we raise only on pasture, which is kind of unique? Why do we have goats with the cattle? Why do we have a mixed herd of cattle? And then we'll also do some funny videos with the kids and their chores and what they think is interesting about the farm, what they focus on. We sell individual cuts of grass-fed and grass-finished beef. For example, steaks, roasts, ground beef, things like beef jerky or chip steak, beef cubes. We sell organ meats and bones for making bone broth. And of course, we take deposits for quarter and half or whole cows. And we work very closely with our customers and our USDA certified butcher to get our customer exactly what they want. I think that's a lot of times where people are really concerned or nervous about buying directly from a farmer, but it's not hard, we're not scary, and we'll teach you how to do it. So in terms of chicken, we sell whole chickens. We sell chicken parts like chicken breasts, leg and thigh, wings, back feet, hearts, liver. Really, everything that's available is always online on our store. If you go to our website or our Facebook page and click the shop. And in 2020, we started our first offering of pasture-raised, non-GMO fed pork and sold 20 hogs, which is a very seasonal thing and a fun learning experience. Our farm is growing, so we are expanding. We take deposits out for these cows months in advance for quarters and halves, and we won't change how we raise our animals. We believe in raising animals on pasture and finishing on grass. So it takes 2 years to finish a cow on grass. It takes that time to ramp up, but that's important to us. I think in the future, our expansion will really go more into agritourism and ag education. We really believe that there's just such a need for people to learn about farming and to really understand better where their food comes from. Especially with the pandemic. I think people in general want to support farming. There's an interest in understanding farming and the food supply chain. We had a real scare, I think, at the beginning of the pandemic when all the shelves at the grocery stores were empty of meats, and people really started taking more of an interest in the local supply chain and supporting local farmers and mom and pop butcher shops and providing food directly to the consumer. So we want to continue to educate and connect people to the farmers who are growing their food for them. That's important to us and to Blue Dog Farms. So this is an exciting thing for me to show you. These are our Thanksgiving turkeys, and they're just about ready. Obviously, Thanksgiving is pretty close. It's mid-November now, so it's a very exciting time for us. These are our pasture-raised, non-GMO fed turkeys. We started a couple years back with about 40 turkeys, and we sold out in 3 days. So this year we have about 150, and this is just one of our paddocks with them. and they're rotationally grazed as well. So you can see we have an old horse trailer set up. That's their shelter. Their food and water is in there, and their grit. And turkeys are just fun. I mean, they'll gobble back at you, they strut, they're just fun to watch and take care of. We use this poultry netting, which is really perfect because it works when the turkeys are just out of the brooder and small. It is electrified. We get it from Kenco Farm Fencing Supplies, and we've been real pleased with how easy it is to move and just how it works to keep the rafter safe. Did you know a flock of turkeys is called a rafter? So I'm not sure if you can see him. You can certainly hear him from time to time, but we have a guard goose in there with the turkeys, and he's sounding off. His name is Gustav the guard goose. And one of the things we've learned is by keeping a guard goose with the turkeys from the time they're out of the brooder, the goose actually adopts them as his own flock, and he protects them, particularly from aerial predators. We've actually seen hawks or eagles flying around, and then you hear Gustav sound off, and they get scared away. So the first year we had turkeys, the kids named him Gustav, and when Thanksgiving passes, he'll move home to our farm on the pond for the winter, and he'll come out next year. We actually have 3 or 4 Gustavs now. We decided it's more of an official title than a name, so all guard gooses are called Gustav. So the primary benefit of raising turkeys on pasture like this is you have to remember turkeys are omnivores. So they eat grass, of course, in their feed, but they also eat little grubs and bugs and peck around in the grass there and get all kinds of good nutrients, and that really increases the omega-3 fatty acids, which are the good fats that you want. Plus, we just think they taste delicious and are a beautiful addition to your Thanksgiving table. We hope you've enjoyed our brief tour here of Blue Dog Farms and seeing a little bit about what we do, raising cattle and turkeys and rotational grazing. And please feel free to visit us online by checking us out at our website, www.bluedogfarms.net, or visit us on Facebook or YouTube, where you can watch and see what we do every day. And we hope you enjoy the rest of the farm show.